Iron Man, also known as Tony Stark, is a genius, billionaire, playboy and a philanthropist who prepares suits in advance for threats in and outside the Earth. Of outstanding performance of Robert Downey Jr. And now it is impossible to imagine anyone else as Iron Man. And yeah, subscribe to our channel and comment "I subscribed." We will reply to you personally because
my turn.
So here we go again. 10th. Mark I armor. Tony created this suit in a cave just from bunch of scraps. Truly, in front of other armors, this armor is nothing more than trash. Being under pressure, it gave Tony the idea of saving the world. This armor was so primitive that it had flamethrowers in it and a rocket launcher which smacked the face of person who caged Tony. With the help of this tank-like armor, Tony was able to come out of that cave alive. Being at the start of our video is its fortune. 9th. Mark III armor. It is not the first armor of Tony, but it is the first one to implement the classic look of Iron Man in Marvel Cinematic Universe. Tony had to make this armor as there were some freezing issues with Mark II armor. Also, it is the first armor that gives a sight of its original red and gold-plated design as seen in comics. It is miles better than the Mark I armor. Of course, from this point, Tony kept on improving his designs. 8th. Mark V armor. The Mark V first appeared in Iron Man 2 and marks the first time that an Iron Man suit became portable. For those who missed that movie, the Mark V fit in a suitcase, or rather, it is the suitcase. This made Tony Stark's life a lot easier since from this point on, as he was able to become Iron Man anywhere. It still wasn't perfect, of course. The Mark V, for all its flashy portability, appears to be less resistant or less durable to damage compared to the earlier suits which have thicker plates. Additionally, the Mark V has fewer combat capabilities than the heavier suits since it had to be lighter for hand carrying in a suitcase. 7th. War Machine. While it belongs to Stark's best friend Colonel James Rhodes, it's actually a stolen Iron Man Mark II armor. Upon bringing it to the US military and another weapons manufacturer, it was outfitted with better armor and conventional weapons. You could say that War Machine was Iron Man on steroids, seeing that it had bigger and more explosive tools. Its most iconic weapon, however, is the back-mounted minigun. It has an AI and targeting system of its own and can eliminate threats with 360-degree coverage. 6th. Hulkbuster. As it turns out, there is no limit to what Tony Stark can do with engineering. The Hulkbuster is proof of that, demonstrating that even something as destructive as the Hulk also has its synthetic match. It first appeared in Avengers: Age of Ultron. There is no question what the Hulkbuster is for. Its purpose is taking down the Hulk or keeping him busy at the very least. So, how did it fare against the big angry meanie? It was a success. The Hulkbuster proved capable of handling the Hulk at his most destructive moments by the skin of Tony's teeth. 5th. Mark 42. It wasn't until Iron Man 3 that Tony was able to create a prototype of one of his most portable Iron Man armors. The Mark 42 Iron Man armor is an experimental wonder whose problems were ironed out throughout the third movie. It's a complete and fully capable Iron Man suit which is also compact. Tony made it so that each part is modular with its own jet engine. This makes each part capable of flying and attaching to him separately until he is fully clad. The Mark 42 is also one of the first fully operable Iron Man suits that doesn't need an actual user inside. That's something Stark used again, as shown in Spider-Man: Homecoming. 4th. Hulkbuster 2.0. The Hulkbuster was a great invention, and it would be a shame if it was only utilized once. Thankfully, Avengers: Infinity War saw another use for the Hulkbuster. This time, instead of fighting the Hulk, it helped him, or Bruce Banner, rather, because the Hulk was missing in action. It's worth noting that it wasn't Stark who built the Hulkbuster 2.0. The Hulkbuster was a modified Hulkbuster courtesy of Wakanda and Bruce Banner. Like the original Hulkbuster, it also fared exceptionally well. With it, Banner was able to defeat and kill Cull Obsidian, who was Thanos' most physically powerful minion. 3th. Mark 50. Speaking of Iron Man armors in Infinity War, Tony Stark also does not shy away from upgrades. His 50th Iron Man armor featured a huge step up in technology over any other suit he made prior. Instead of the clunky and cumbersome armor plates, the Mark L uses nanites or nanoparticles which can deploy all over Stark's body and manifest into an Iron Man suit. This makes it similar to Black Panther's suit. While some might argue that it barely looks like armor, it certainly served its purpose well. It had all the capabilities of the previous Iron Man suits, and then some. Not to mention, the Mark L was also more convenient than any predecessor. On a final note, we can recall Stark was able to use it to wound Thanos, Infinity Stones and all. He was the only Avenger able to inflict that kind of damage against the Mad Titan. Second, Rescue Armor Model 1. We all know that Pepper Potts is Stark's soulmate in the MCU. They've been together through thick and thin. One could wonder why Stark never made her any Iron Man armor, even for emergency protective purposes, before. This gets rectified in Avengers Endgame when Tony gave Pepper her very own Iron Man suit as an anniversary gift. It's called the Rescue Armor Model 1 or MK1616. Fun fact: 1616, when converted into letters, spells PP, Pepper Potts' initials. It's not just a mere gift, of course. Pepper used it for the final battle against Thanos in Endgame, in what appears to be a total geeky fan service moment, which ought to put a smile on any Iron Man fan's face. It's smaller and more slender than Stark's suits, but still equally awesome and stylish with its blue and purple coloring. First, Mark 85. Stark's final Iron Man suit is the Mark 85 Iron Man suit featured in Avengers Endgame. It appears to be a more metallic and bulkier version of the Mark L. What does set it apart from the Mark L, aside from appearance and upgrades, is the fact that it was also built to control and withstand the Infinity Stones. It's basically a portable Infinity Gauntlet, the pinnacle of Stark's engineering. Sadly, Tony died in this armor after using the Infinity Stones to snap Thanos and his army out of existence. His heroic sacrifice saved not only the Earth but also the entire universe. Such a feat would not have been possible without the Mark 85 worn by the valiant Tony Stark. Thanks for watching our video. If you loved it, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.